Kia ora and welcome to Craft Artosaurus. My name's Paula. Today's Sunday and it's first time of playing with my scroll. I know, I'm such a big kid, aren't I? I'm just really excited. Yep, I've got some pins in front of me and some bits and pieces. So I thought I'm just going to do a little bit on it, and however long it takes, it takes. So this will be live, kind of. Yeah, I kind of know what I mean. So yeah, I've got some thread over here. I mean, some material over here. I'm looking for something that looks a little bit, just a little bit like a lighthouse. I'd like a lighthouse just here. So I know it has to be smaller than that. Don't panic. Don't panic. And also straight, but I guess it should be about that size. Most probably should also have my glue stick, actually. That would make more sense than pins, wouldn't it? I'm more of a glue stick girl, but I don't know. I was thinking just a cool lighthouse just sitting there. Got a little bit of a loose thread there. I know it's too long, but I will cut it to size and, you know, do all that sort of guff. Says I with, you know, hope in my little heart. I don't know. I'm just going to have some fun and play. So yeah, well, I don't know. I've never really so lots of little pieces, lots and lots of little pieces of fabric. Yeah, and you know, they're all over here. Lots of little pieces. I don't know. Actually, I would like to add a little bunny in. I know the bunny's going to be too big, but it'll be fun. And that's what I'm thinking here. I just want fun, kind of, you know, I guess a little bit silly too, but I'm in a fun, silly mood. Which one shall we do? I quite like this one, but then again, I kind of like this one, and it's a little bit lower. So I might grab that. Gone quiet. I'm cutting, I'm thinking. That's all it takes. It's a little bit of cutting and thinking. Oh, I'm quiet as. I quite like the idea of a nice big bunny next door to the lighthouse. Oh, it's massive compared to the lighthouse, isn't it? I might put the bunny over here and work that out. I don't know. Like that. Another pin. Right. Now I'm going to stitch. Basically, I've got some thread in front of me. It's all my Perle cotton. I figured I better start using this before, you know. And actually, it's not all my Perle cotton because I've got Perle cotton over here, which is what I was looking for. I was thinking I don't have any blue, but let me just empty these containers into there that I got off Temu. Oh my goodness, is there such a thing as too much Perle cotton in your life? I don't think there is. I don't think there is. There we go. I was going to put that in there earlier on, but totally forgot. It comes pre-knotted, which is always never a good thing. Oh, I don't know. I do like using the blue needle. I'm back to the blue needle. There's something about it I like. You know how it is. You get favourites with certain sizes. I don't have to worry about putting a knot in the end because this piece came pre-knotted. I just need to take off that bit there. Let's go. Have a little bit of sewing fun. I think for the sides of this, I'm just... Yep. There we go. Cleo's still wearing her lovely dog scarf I made the other day. She got so sad last night when I took it off her. Real sulk on. I hadn't seen that in a while. So I put it back on her this morning, and now she's all happy and cheerful and running around being a little bit silly. Today was meant to be an absolutely stinker of a day here on the coast, but yet again the news people got it wrong. Nah. I shouldn't say that. Oh dear. So we're the place. I think we could be the place to be, really. It's just so gorgeous out there. So, yep, I've been busy this morning. I went to MITRE, what are we calling it now? MITRE 5.4. It's not a 10. Let's be truthful. To be a 10, you have to have the goods in there, people. And our MITRE 5.4 doesn't have the goods in it. Oh, and then when you want something and it's online, you've got to pay to get it here. And that really annoys me. So we actually, when we were redoing our house and, renovating it, we saw a couple of lights there that I thought would look rather fab. And so we said, oh, we'll have those lights, thank you very much. And because they're displaying them, but we couldn't see them on the shelf, but they were display lights. So that meant, ergo to us, that meant they were in store somewhere. So they'll be out the back or something. And the guy said, oh yes, they're just out of stock at the moment. We'll get those in for you and you can pick them up. So we got a phone call, went to pick them up. And then they were going to charge us for shipping. For shipping. Oh, I tell you what, since then they were a MITRE 2.0 in that day. But we went there for garden edging. I want to redo, I'm doing the garden, so I want to fix up the garden edgings and everything. And we can't seem to find a landscape person here on the coast who will give us a quote to do garden edging. So, of course, that means we've got to do it ourselves. And when I say we've got to do it ourselves, that actually means I've got to do it myself because my husband's too busy playing golf to do that sort of thing. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm up to garden edging, to tell you the truth. I'm thinking, it's Christmas later on and my daughter's bringing her boyfriend home. Come on, Ian, you could get in and do a bit of garden edging for me, couldn't you? No, he couldn't do the garden edging for me. And the fact that I'm even thinking that is a bit shocking, really, a bit shocking. Poor Ian. He's got enough on his plate, He's been working, he's got his own life in Christchurch. The last thing he needs to do is pop over to the coast for Christmas and then, basically, I'm calling myself the in-laws. They've been together so long now. The in-laws say, oh, while you're here, just whip up this garden edging. If you could just whip this garden edging up with me. So I don't know. I might have to watch a few videos and sort myself out. I'm not really sure how I'm going to sort myself out. I'm not the sort myself out person at the moment. Oh, it's garden edging, for goodness sake. I don't know. So, yeah. So I'll need to get my act together and work out a way of doing garden edging, which, I really shouldn't be worried about. I've got a gingerbread house I need to get on and finish. It's not looking too bad. I'm still not happy with the lollipops that I've painted up. So I need to sort those out. I'm just not, each time I look at them, I think, oh, how can I make you any better? So it's one of those catch situations, I think. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to get all the lollies on, and also I've got some greenery on the way from Temu. Yep, I ordered some Temu leaves, and that'll go on. That'll look rather snazzy, I reckon. Good old Temu. And yeah, I'll be happy with that, and we'll see how it goes from there. Yep, and I've still got my fairy garden, which I've actually started the fairy garden, so it's all nicely fixed up, ready to go. I actually thought, well, I could just go to the warehouse and get some stones, because they used to sell bags of stones there. But obviously I must be getting old, because they no longer sell bags of stones. Um, deny all knowledge of ever selling said stones, which kind of, yeah, grates a little bit. So I did think, well, that's why I went to Mitre 10. I thought, well, I think I can get it at Mitre 10. So off I toddled to Mitre 10, which was Mitre 5.2 or 4.2 or whatever I'm calling it. No, they've got bags of stones, but I don't know. They're not the stones I was thinking of. So I was thinking, I, I don't know. I'm thinking I might just put some bark down. And you see, I was thinking that to begin with. I'll put some bark down, and then my kind of, creatures I'm making to go there. And it'll be rather neat, it's a little fairy garden. So, yep, I've got little houses and things like that I want to put out. But I'm a bit disappointed. Can't get the stones I want, and I was thinking, there would be a pink path and there'd be a white path through here, and the rest will be in bark, and I'll have my little houses around, and I had it all planned out in my head, gnomes here and that sort of thing, and a few fairies, and those lights, the fairy lights I wanted up on the fence coming over the garden and everything. And I thought I'd get a big wine barrel kind of thing, and I'd have kind of like steps going up the wine barrow, and then on either side of it I'd have like plants, but I'd have a house at the back, so it would look really mystical and wonderful, and that's where the fairies were going to be. But yeah, all of that's now in doubt. I just can't find the stones, the jolly stones. So I don't know. I might need to shop online for them, and I don't think that's going to work. Yeah, I really don't think that's going to work. So I don't know. I'm debating in my head, which is never, ever a good thing. Yep, so I'm in an R on my fairy garden. My veggie garden's all ready to go, and later on today I'm going to put my peas, which I've soaked overnight like my friend Judy told me to do. They're all soaked, and I'm going to put those into my egg cartons, and that'll be all nicely done, so that's very exciting. And then when they come up, I'm then going to put them in the container, which is ready outside. So it's a nice big long wooden container my father-in-law made for me, and that's where the peas are going to go. And I've already got the things at the back of the container so the peas can grow up and then onto the fence, and that'll be wonderful. We'll have peas for Christmas. Oh, so exciting. So yep, I'm actually really I'm just enjoying myself, kind of flitting from this thing to the next, and you know how it goes, where you're working things out in your head. And yeah, I'm just really am enjoying the time outside, because even though they keep on saying it's raining on the west coast, it's like so wrong. No, it's not raining. So yep, my husband's like, oh, I won't be able to play golf on Sunday, so what do you want to do? And I said, oh no, Sundays are taken care of. I'm going to do a video on Sunday, and it's going to be my scroll. And I was he said, oh, right, okay. I think he was a bit shocked. Normally I would be like, yep, let's go do this, but no, I was thinking I really want yep, I'd planned this and I'd worked it out in my head, and yeah, it just seemed to make sense to me. This is the day I had free to do it with. So yeah, now I think that's what you meant to. I've never, and by the way, I never watched how to do a scroll. So this is all me just guessworking again. Oh dear, I'm a shocker. I really am. I did think, oh yeah, I'll watch up on that and I'll get it all sorted in my head and all that sort. No, just really, I couldn't give two hoots what they're saying. I'm in my own little mind. So I'm just going over the edge here so it's all nicely held down. And I know I've got to put the top on with the light. So I was thinking the light could come this way. Oh, it's not the best, is it? But I think I did that one too tight, and it's also in the wrong place. There we go. Might be, oh, I keep on stabbing myself with the bunny. Excuse me, all the hiccups, and you know, don't know why. Haven't eaten lunch yet. I guess it must be getting near lunchtime because my tummy's starting to rumble. Spent too long looking around Mitre 4.2. Oh dear. It really does annoy me. My mum gets this garden edging up north. I think it's from a Mitre 10, or it could be a local building place. But it's all nicely done, and it's concrete, and it's got the mowing edge, so you kind of, and it seems to sink into the ground, so it's at the right level. And that's what I was wanting. I'm wanting to put that on the garden. Cannot find it anywhere in the South Island. And I'm thinking, why is it they always get things up north that we can't get here? Oh, it's a woe is me category today, is it, from Paula? Yeah, poor people. Yeah, poor people. Cleo's gone. Oh no, she's over in a dog bed. She's sleeping away, having a nice little sleep. I want to take her later on for a lovely long walk, which is why I'm giving myself just a little time here. And I figure I'll spend some time with you folks and just do a little bit of sewing and have some fun. So is it crooked? It is a little bit crooked. Do I care? No, I don't. So from there I'm going with this black. Well, it's kind of black. It's colours 3799. So I noticed that on the Temu ones, they've got the colour on the inside in big letters, so you don't have to pull everything back and look at it. So, yep, loving that, me old eyes. I've just got to find where it's... Oh, and a friend of mine got a hand-cranked sewing machine, which is most probably a bit old-fashioned, but it's gorgeous. It's the colour, I don't know, dusky pink mushroom kind of colour. I think it could be mushroom. And it's an old Singer, and you hand crank it, and it does everything. So the hand crank was put on by an historical society out Lake Moana way. So they've got quite a few there. And I said to her, oh my goodness, can you tell me how much it was? And two, have they got any left? Because I would really love one. It was so funky. And she's going to bring it, you see, to my sewing classes on Tuesday there at the Baptist church. So she'll bring that along and she will hand crank away. And she was also going to use it to teach her granddaughter how to sew. Because, you know, you're hand cranking it and you've got a little bit more control and everything. So she thought that would be really cool for her granddaughter. And I've got to say, I was very excited. She did bring it along last Tuesday, but we were in with all the artists. There was no room for it. But I had a little play with it. Oh my goodness. So my want monster has really kicked in. And then she sent me a message saying, that hand crank machine, were you serious about wanting to get one? And I was like, oh yes. And I answered after 10 o'clock. I've got this thing where, you know, if someone rings and it's after 10 o'clock, you don't answer, unless, of course, you know, because you don't ring anyone or message anyone after 10 o'clock unless someone is dying. I don't know, maybe it was just me, how we were brought up in my house. So, yep, it was a thing. If the phone rang after 10 o'clock, someone was dying or it was a serious accident. You know, it was a wall phone. Yeah, it's that long ago, and you had to dial it. Yeah. I can't even remember how. And there was just one phone. I know. Memories, anyone? Memories? So, you know, I was like, oh, it's so cool, the sewing machine. So I mentioned it to my husband. I said, oh, we'll be going out to the society place because I'm definitely going to get one. I'm definitely going to get one. And then she's offered me her one because she's decided it's the wrong sort of thing. She's in the wrong headspace for it. And also it's a little bit too slow stitchy. So she is an incredible, and I cannot say this, an incredible quilter. So yeah, if I ever get into trouble with quilting, I just think, oh, I'll ring Helen, and she has all the answers for me. And then of course I just do it by hand because yeah. But we usually, you know, because I used to sew costumes and that sort of thing for my daughters and for other people in the company and that sort of thing, and so yeah, so we talk sewing, and of course I fix clothes up, still do on my sewing machine, especially for my husband, and but I don't do it anymore. Oh, maybe this sounds bad. I don't do it anymore for normal people, you know. If someone came and they were like, oh, I need this fixed, I'd go, that's nice. And I don't offer to do it. I know, you're all absolutely appalled with me. And yes, it would only take me 4 seconds, but I'm not doing that sort of thing anymore. Yeah, it's just, I've got to get my sewing machine out, I've got to get all my threads out, I've got to get everything right, and I've got to do this and that sort of, no, I'll do it for my husband, I'll do it for anyone in the family, but yeah, and I won't do it for friends. I'll say, oh, that's nice, get a sewing machine. And I've said that a couple of times, and the person has looked a little shocked because normally I would grab my sewing machine and I would do it. You know, I just go and do it. But now I'm thinking, nope, I'm not doing it anymore. I just can't do this. I don't have the time for it, for one thing. And for another, I just don't feel like it. So I'm terrible. Oh dear, I'm never going to make it into heaven. I already know that. So yeah, not too worried there. A little bit maybe. So yeah, so I just thought, well, I'm not doing it anymore, and that's the end of that. But and then I thought, well, hang on, if I had this hand crank sewing machine and it's sitting there, I could most probably quickly fix up someone's hem or that sort of thing. Yeah, I don't know, but I thought, no, I'm just going to say no, because I thought, oh, it'd be so cool to have just for time to time when you're doing some hand stitching. You could just quickly hand crank something, like if you're making a bag or something, you could do that. And it's only straight stitch, that's all it does. It doesn't do zigzag or anything. When I get it anyway, I'll show it to you all. And you can all ooh and ah and have your monsters kick in. And I'm sure you'll be able to find an old singer like this. So yeah, I guess, oh, look at that. So to me, those are the windows of the lighthouse going up, and I just need something up here that's yellow, and I can see yellow here, and I just need a little bit. Oh, just need a little bit, says I. There's a little bit over here. Don't need the bugs, I just want the yellow. I might take that bugs little. So it really is just a case of playing with things, isn't it? Oh, that's just what I want. It's a little bit long. I need my smaller scissors, but I don't have them, the sharp smaller scissors. I don't know how good these are. These are old as. They're older than me, I think. No, they're not, because I would have bought them. Yeah, I guess like that. Now, I'm going to stitch that down with a bit of this white. And look, I've already got the light. I know, I'm just so organised, aren't I? It's so cute. It's definitely on a lean. So I'll have to put all my crooked houses on here too. Gosh, the birds are out there. They're so chirpy today. Um, Cleo, bless her little heart, has decided that she is going to bark at every bird on our section. And oh, when she comes out and helps in the garden, that's all she's doing. It's bark, 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 bark. And obviously the birds are there. They're in the trees tweeting. And it's very cute, kind of. But I also, so the other day I finally said, enough. And she stopped. I know, it was a shocker. So yeah, so if you shout out enough, she seems to stop barking. So I feel like I've trained my dog. Well, at least I feel like I've done something. But she is a very intelligent dog, I must say. So yeah. Meanwhile, Cinder, our cat, doesn't seem to comprehend that they're birds. He just sits there on the grass and sleeps on the grass, and the grass is damp at the moment, so I don't know, it can't be that nice. So our lawns need mowing, so I don't know, the ground seems so damp though. And yet I guess we've had a little bit of dew in the morning, and it's definitely heating up during the day. So yeah, 2 o'clock is a fantastic time at the moment to be walking the dog. It's just lovely outside. But first thing in the morning we have that horrible cold breeze, that cutting icy thing that we seem to get here in Greymouth. They call it the Barber. So I don't know if I was on camera there. I was slowly sliding over this way. Just sliding over ever so slowly. And I figured this is, we'll just do a little bit every week on a Sunday on this project, and I'm sure before we know it, it'll all be done and it'll look lovely. And yeah, I think this is what I'm going to encourage my students to do when they do one next year. Get everything all nice and ready for them. I'll cut all the fabric so it's all the right size and all that sort of thing, and I'll roll a few up. And then if a few of them are feeling they want something longer, they can add to it. I don't know if you need the felt at the back, because I've actually realized you've got so many layers. So maybe you don't need the felt, but I like the feel of the felt in my hand. So it's, I'm umming and ahhing. So maybe I'll put some felt on a few of them, and on others I won't. And we'll see what the class thinks about it. So this will be next year's project, and it'll run through the whole year. And if they haven't got anything to do, I'll hand them one of these. Oh, I don't actually want you. I'm going to have to pull that out. I don't want you going through there. What I should do is I'm just going to thread this black one. I should have thought about this before. And just up over here out of the way, and that will keep it out of the way of this thread, which I've nearly finished with. It's off. Because I'm also wondering if I'd put the felt on last and I would cover all my messy stitching. Oh, so yeah, I don't know. So I found the perfect strawberry planter, which can go into my greenhouse, and it's a hanging one. So I think I'm going to have strawberries this year hanging. That way the cat can't sleep on it. Here's one thing, I'm wondering about that. And another thing is the birds can still get in, and the butterflies and everything can still get in and pollinate it, which is important. And they've got, I think it's 5 plants for $20. So I thought if I get a few of those and this hanging planter that I've seen that I absolutely love, it's really, really cool, that will sort the strawberries out this year, just in case they don't have any in at the supermarket later on, which you'd think wouldn't be a thing here because strawberry season is Christmas here in New Zealand. So strawberries have always been a big thing here in New Zealand at Christmas time. Yep, we used to go strawberry and raspberry picking in Palmerston North, where I grew up, just out of town. And they had this big area where you went strawberry and raspberry picking, and the containers that you brought of the fruit, that's what you'd get paid for. So you'd pick the raspberries and everything, and they'd, kids doing this. It was school holidays. It was a fun thing to do. I know it shouldn't have been kids though picking it, should it? I don't know. I think there were times when I got hungry and I ate some. So yeah, but they didn't seem to mind as long as you didn't sit there and just eat and do that. So you'd go there and you'd pick a couple of buckets and you'd get something like $2 or something, and $2 was a lot back then. That would buy you a pie and a packet of chips. So, that was a jolly good nosh up. Oh dear. I'm just going back to this and I don't know if it's going to thread through. Yep, certainly did. And just at the, where are we? We're over here. If I can just go from here, going across to here. And from here, don't go to the other side, Paula, just go to the same side you went down. And then you go across to there. And then just above that, coming down. And that should have a nice little effect on it. So it's like it's got a little walkway going around the top here where the light keeper can go and walk around and clean the glass. I think that's the thing they do, isn't it? When I was little, when I was a young child, quite a few years ago now, I read this book called The Wreckers. I think it was in our school library. Oh my goodness, what did I want to be when I grew up? I wanted to be a lighthouse keeper. Yes, I did. And why did I want to be a lighthouse keeper? You're all thinking, oh, she wants to save the ships. No, I wanted to wreck the ships so I could get all the bounty. I'll tell you what, and once a year, our principal would, he'd call you into his office because it was your birthday, and he'd have a conversation with you, how's school going? What are you enjoying? Do you know yet what you want to be when you grow up? Well, I, with great gusto, kept on saying for years on end, yes, I know what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be a lighthouse keeper. And he was like, oh, that's a little bit weird for a little girl, but all right, if you want to be a lighthouse keeper, what can we do to support this? And I was like, I don't know, I guess I need to know electrical things. And he was like, yes, you'd need to do that. And I said, yeah, because, you need to fix the light if it's broken and all that sort of thing. And he's like, yes. And I said, well, I actually need to be quite good at maths because I need to work out where the light is, so the boats can see it in the sea from the distance, so they don't wreck themselves on the ship, on the shore. So I was like, you've got to be so high up, because then the ships know, well, that's the light and we're so far from the shore and that. And I said, well, if you go down to the shore with your light, you could wreck ships. And he was like, oh yes, but lighthouse keeper, you wouldn't want to do that. And I was like, no, of course I wouldn't, sir, of course I wouldn't, being a very good little girl that I was. No, of course I wanted to wreck the ships. That's all I was there for. I was there to wreck the ships. And I'm just getting a grey now, so I can do some grey coming along here. And so one year he finally, I think I was like 10, and I'd been saying this. I read the book when I was 5 or 6, when I started to get into reading. And a friend of mine, Sharon Crowther, she was a fantastic reader. Oh, her family had all these books and everything, and she was just a fantastic reader. I struggled a bit, but this was the first chapter book that I kind of got out, and it piqued my interest, a bit like Harry Potter piqued all those kids' interests when they were young. And so it kind of taught me to read in a way. And from then on, that was it. I was a bookworm. I was reading left, right, and centre. But still, every year I would go in and I would say, I'd like to be a lighthouse keeper. And so finally, I sat down, and the principal was there, and he had the vice principal with him. And he said, so what would you like to be when you grow up? And I said, oh, lighthouse keeper. And he was like, yes, you said that now for a while. And I said, well, yes, I have. And the vice principal was this lovely lady, and she was just fun to talk to. She was, the principal was a bit of a scary dude. The vice principal, she was cute, the friendly one, the good teacher, the nice one. And so she said, Paula, and I was like, yes, Miss Jimson. And she was like, can you please tell me, why would you like to be a lighthouse keeper? And I said, well, you remember all those years ago when I got that book in the library? And she was like, yes, I remember that book. And she was looking confused. I said, it was called The Wreckers. And she said, The Wreckers. I said, I was like in my second year at school, I think, or my first year at school. And she was like, okay. I said, well, it taught me to read, and it's all about this town and the ships they wrecked and how they got the bounty from them and they became rich. And she was like, oh, yes, I do know that. And she said, so you want to be a lighthouse keeper? So I said, well, I leant forward and I said very softly to her, so I can wreck ships. Oh my goodness. I think my mum was phoned up. I think my mum had to come in and see the principal over that one. Oh dear, they were a little bit concerned about me. I had a little violent streak after all. So and it was so funny. It was like, oh, for goodness sake. So my mum said, because it was getting close to my birthday again, last year of primary school, and she said, for God's sake, when you go in this year, don't tell them you want to be a lighthouse keeper. And I was like, oh, okay. And she said, no, she said, don't say that, and don't tell them about wrecking ships either. And I was like, oh, okay, yep. And she said, so be something else. And I was like, oh, okay. She said, well, they don't have lighthouse keepers anymore in New Zealand. And I was like, what? She said, so what else do you want to be? And I said, I don't know. And my sister, who was older than me, she said, tell them because you can't be a lighthouse keeper, you want to become a prostitute. And my mother went, I think it was Heather, she went, Heather! Heather shot off the great guns of, and my brother said, oh, tell them, tell them to mind their own business. It's got nothing to do with them. And I was like, all right, okay. I'm going to have to sort something out. Sure enough, a couple of weeks later, I was called in, and he said, oh, how you doing, Paula? I said, oh, great. And he said, oh, well, I said, well, have you heard the news? And he said, no. And I said, New Zealand has stopped having manned lighthouse keepers. And he went, oh my goodness. And I said, I know, I'm a bit devastated. I said, that's been my plan all the way through school to be a lighthouse keeper. And now, of course, I'm a little bit lost. I'm really not sure what I would like to be. And he said, yes, yes. And I said, well, obviously, I can't be a lighthouse keeper. And he said, no. And I said, well, do you know what? I figure I'm going to be a writer. And he went, pardon? I said, well, when you think about it, I said, it's been all these years I've been at this school, eons and eons. And he was like, eons and eons? And I said, yeah. I said, well, when I started, you were a young fit man. And he looked at me. And I said, in my youthful ignorance, you're getting a bit old now, aren't you? But, long in the tooth, as the saying goes. And he says, yes, I'm in my dotage. And I said, well, you must be at least 160 by now. And he said, at least. I said, and he was like looking at me with this look on his face of, get out of my office. But obviously he was too polite to say it. And I said, well, that book kept my interest the whole time. So I figure I'm going to become a writer, and I'll write a cool book like The Wreckers, but obviously not The Wreckers, because you can't write the same book twice. And that's what I'm going to do with my life. And he was like, oh, that's excellent. And he said, so what can we do here at the school to help you reach your full potential of that? So it must be like a little thing they had back then there, some questions you had to ask, set questions and that sort of thing. I don't know. And I said, I'm leaving, this is my last year here. And I said, there's nothing really you can do. It's up to me now. I'm going to go to intermediate, and from there, I'll carry on, and I'll become a famous writer, and in years from now you'll see a book and it'll be written by me, and you'll be, oh, there was my pupil, oh, it's so exciting, look at her, she's done everything that she wanted to do when she was little. And he said, yes, but in my mind I'll be going, she really wanted to be a lighthouse keeper. And I looked at him and I smiled and I said, too damn right. I said, however, since they've got all these lighthouses, and he said, yes. And I said, and they're unmanned. And he said, yes. I said, well, surely sooner or later the government's going to sell them off, because that's what they always do if something's making a profit. They sell them off. I said, so I can always buy one and still become a wrecker. And I smiled at him. I said, shall I leave now? And he said, yes, you'd better leave. You'd better leave, Paula. And I said, it's been a delight. It's been a delight, all these meetings, just so you know. They've really made my year. You make me smile. And he was like, oh, that's all very nice to say. And I think my mum was called in again. I was a right menace at school, I tell you now. Oh dear. So as you can see, I'm just adding little bits and pieces to this lighthouse, and I am thoroughly enjoying myself, actually. Gosh, it's so relaxing. Did anyone else watch Just Johnny today? He opened up a scrawler box. Oh my goodness, he's got Arteza Artex, I think it's Artex, paint pens. Oh, be still my beating heart. Oh, lucky Johnny. Lucky Johnny. He's going to have so much fun with that. So much fun. Oh, so lucky. Oh, gosh, I missed my scrawler box. I saw that and I thought, I want a scrawler box. But it takes so jolly long for anything to get to New Zealand from England. It really does. Eons and eons of slow post, and sometimes when I got scrawler box, it would be like there'd be 2 or 3 boxes in front of me, and so I couldn't enter anything. And the one year that I finally got a box on time and I painted something and they said, oh, how lovely it was, I thought, oh, I'll make it into the zine this time. Nope, didn't even get a mention. And it was a jolly good picture too. I was a bit offended by that one. So it was a underwater one. I think we got the Viva sheets, and I did this picture underwater. Oh, it was lovely. This woman, and it was gorgeous. It was actually one of my better paintings. So yeah, I thought I should really make that into a big painting, but I never did, because, you know, it's crawler box. You don't do that sort of thing, do you? You just, you know, you say things and you totally forget about it. Oh, this is very, very relaxing. I can see why people make these. I'm running out of thread and I know I've got to go against these windows here. I'm wondering if I could just do a little line next door to it rather than something like this, because the light will be shining down. Maybe. I'll see what I feel like. Maybe I could go underneath this one. Gosh, what is that noise? I don't know if you can hear that. There's a funny noise outside. Well, then again, it could be in my head. Ugh. It feels like sounds like someone's, oh, it's mowing lawns. It's Ping, isn't it? Next door neighbour. She's so good. Me, I'm not mowing my lawns, no. Instead, I'm sitting here sewing with you guys on YouTube. Oh, dear. And I'm thinking, gosh, I'm getting hungry. Gosh, I'm hungry. I don't need food. Oh, no, I want a bagel. I want a bagel. There we go. Just a little bit here. Oh, come on, just go down to here. Oh, I quite like that. Don't know if we can see a lighthouse in it as such. Maybe. Oh, yep, definitely shouldn't have put that on the back. It's so thick to sew through, it's not funny. So yeah, I don't think I needed that. I'm shedding. Now hopefully I can oh. I think it's going through. And push that through a little bit at the back. Oh, okay. Oh no, I'm going to have to, I think I need a bigger needle. I'm grabbing the yellow one. It's just easy, super easy to thread. I don't know if I'll be able to get it through this. The thread's all split. There we go. There. There. Oh, we are getting there with a little lighthouse. I do like it. It's kind of a little bit spooky. Ooh. Here we go with the yellow for the light going across, which will be a running stitch. Nope. Here it is. Oh. Made a beautiful knot there. You know, not everyone can do a knot like that. You've got to be a YouTuber to do a knot like that. Threading it. Yep. Now, I think if I go out from here and I go straight across. Oh, that's too much of a stitch. I'm going to have to go in and out because I want it quite close. There we go. Now, if I put something else here, it doesn't bother me that the light will be behind that. I'm just, okay, and from there I think it would come down to here and go back up on an angle. And it would go out the other way. That might be on a bit too much of an angle. Well, that's as far as that one can go, and we'll come back in again. And we'll go here, back out, and here, back in. And I think that means that this one here, am I still on camera? I think I am, needs to come out a bit. Ow. Just, you know, slowly stab myself here. There we go. Looks more Dalek than, no, I'm sure I'm wrong there. I'm sure I'm wrong there. Than Lighthouse. No, it's definitely Lighthouse, isn't it? Not Dalek. Ooh, I should add a Dalek. That would be fun. A little flying Dalek. Oh, we can have the Doctor's blue box. Oh, no, it's not that sort of carry on board. There we go. Oh, that to me says Lighthouse. Now, we just need, just in here, I'm going to wrap around the thread like 5 times. 3, 4, 5. Go back down, and I'm hoping that'll do a funky, okay, wrap around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A funky French knot, pull it gently on the end. Should make a really cool one, and hopefully I can pull this through. Oh, look at that. Oh yes, it says a Lighthouse. It's lovely. It looks a little bit like a cow fence up here, but it's small work. What do you expect? I think I want a little bit of yellow just here on the side. I just feel that some yellow light from the lighthouse would also come across this way. So I'll just do that. It's making sense in my mind. I don't know if it's making sense like artistically, but I'm just having fun. It doesn't matter. And this is the thing with these, I think with these smaller pictures, smaller kind of, yeah, I'm calling it a picture. That's what I usually find. I usually find even when I do a small painting, I just have fun. I love having fun with things. Yeah, I think that looks cool. Oh, I'm so happy with my little lighthouse. We need some stuff on the ground, and we also need to sort out these hillsides. But I'm going to leave it there today. And we'll come back next Sunday and we'll carry on working on here. So I guess this week's, if you're doing this and you want to know what I'm adding or what you can add if you're doing exactly the same sort of thing, a seascape. I've added a lighthouse, and that is all we've done today. But it's so cool. It is so cool. I really do love it quite a bit. I think we need some sheep, even though it's sand dunes. We need something on the dunes, so I'll need to think about that, won't I, throughout the week. So I'll think what else we can add, and I'll see you all next Sunday for this project, which I really, really did enjoy. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and if you are joining in, lighthouse. And I have got a bunny cut here, so that will be added somewhere. I'm not quite sure where. But yeah, it will be added in. A few little creatures. I might actually draw a bunny that's smaller than that, because I'm thinking it's too big. And I can draw that in with me erasable marker. So, yep. All right. So I'll catch you all later. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you all later. All right. Bye for now. Bye, everyone.